Hello friends, welcome back to our channel Hi-Fi Study for You. And today in this video we again come up with a very important topic of your English grammar, and that is the most confusing one, and that is tense, which actually defines the structure of sentence. And in grammar the most important root part is the tense. So in this video we all are here to discuss about tense, and as we usually all know that there are three types of tenses, and we will cover first part of it in this video. There are three sections of this session. So first let's begin with this good news and start our section A. Okay, so first, what a tense is. We'll start from the basic. So tense is all about time, which defines what happened in the past, what is happening right now, what will happen in future. It defines the time, and we know that time is only categorized under three categories: that what happened in history or the past if we talk about, and what happening right now in the present, what will happen in the future in the coming up time, right? So that's what it deals with. Now that we know what a tense is, it is easier for us to use some rules, some ideology kind of, by which we will define this. So first, this tense is categorized under three types, three kinds of tense. That first one is, which we will talk about today, present tense. Present tense. Second one is past tense, and third is future tense. Right? Present tense, past tense and future tense. So present tense is what is happening right now. I am teaching you. That is your present. What is happening right now is defines the present tense. Now that we know what a present tense is, let's come and discuss about this amazing type of tenses. And you know what? Present tense is actually very easy, and all kinds are like very easy. We have to just use some rules which are given and the forms of verb. Before that we jump into this, let me tell you about the verb. Right? There is lot more use of this verb. Right? And we know that we see the forms of verb like go, went, gone. Right? And these are very common examples. Actually, we all know, right, that this is the first form. First verb's first form. This is verb's second form. This is verb's third form. Right? And these all are a specialized type of tense they are used. And just keep in mind that present tense is mostly for verb's first form. Past tense is of second tense, and this future will be of third. Easy, right? And present, past and future. Now that we know this much, let's jump into the present tense and its types. So we are knowing that each tense containing four types in it. Names are very similar, just a kind of when we use father's surname. So they are using their surnames like simple present tense, simple present continuous tense, present perfect tense, present perfect continuous tense, right? So let's talk about their parts. Let me rub this. Alright. So the first part is present indefinite tense. So it is also known as present simple tense. Let me write. So the first is present simple tense. So what is the name? Just indicates simple. it is actually when we do exercises, when we do questions on this tense, this is also very simple to understand. How? Let's see. So what's the format? How do you make simple tense? Before that, let me tell you in which kinds of sentences these simple tense are used. This is of present, okay? Today we will talk about present, okay? So simple tense, where it is used when you are talking about your habits, when you are talking about just we go to school, right now due to pandemic we don't go, but we go to school. That is a kind of habit to us. We always do that work, right? So that is what in simple tense looks like, or a kind of truth if you are explaining, a kind of truth like universal truth. The earth revolves around the sun. Knowing this term, here also article we also talk about where the is used, where it is used for universal truth, right? So here es is used, which defines the simple tense. Now we know in which kind of sentences it is used for. Let's look at the format of simple tense. So it will be subject plus which form of verb? Yes, verb's first form plus s or es. Then plus object. Object is something which ends the sentence. Let's take a simple example. I go to school, a very common one, and we will define each term. I go to school. Before that, I had also written above s and es, but I don't use s and es here. Why? There is also a term that s and es will be only used when there will be singular subject. In singular terms like he, she and it. Let me write for you. Always remember, s and es will be only used when you have terms like he, she or it, right? When you have terms like he, she or it, you will use s or es. If you have plural, as we are knowing that I, it is a kind of singular. I am only talking about myself, but it is considered as the category of plural. So like I, we, you, they. These all terms, can you see? Yes. These all terms are the plural verbs where s and es will be not used. Yes. Now we got I. Yes, here is also I. So we don't use s and es in the form. Otherwise, if instead of I, let me raise I. If I write C go to school, it will be wrong because C is a singular word. So if I add es to go, it will be right. She goes to school. Because here singular terms or singular words s or es will be used. If plural, s and es will be not used. Easy. Now this is how you will form your affirmative sentences. Affirmative sentences, we are knowing that mostly of 3 or 4 types. Affirmative. First, what an affirmative is. So affirmative is which defines that you are okay with that condition or you satisfy or accepted that, right? It is saying she goes to school. She go, right? There is no negative thing. She does not go to school. There is not like this. So this is about the affirmative sentences under this. So should we come up with negative? So in negative words, if you want to say she goes to school, I have just told you initially. So what is that? Tell me. Yes. She does not go to school. Right? Because when we are talking about negative sentences, then we are knowing that the form which came up here is of do. Then the second form, did. Third form is done. Do, did and done. first, second, third form. Easy? Now, she does not go to school is the negative. If we talk about interrogative are the sentences which tells us about the questions, right? All kinds of WH words are come under this. Interrogative. If you talk about interrogative, does first. This helping verb comes first. Does she go to school? Right? It will become like this. This is how you will form in under simple tense all the tenses. Before that, all the kind of words. Before that, we also see interrogative negative. Interrogative negative, as we know that in interrogative, we tell that does she go to school? So in that we just use not before the verb, before the main verb and after the helping verb. So does she not go to school? This is how you will form the sentences. So this is about the simple tense. Let's come up to the second type, which is present continuous tense. Okay, let me rub. So the second type that we are looking for is the continuous tense. Present continuous tense. So the term indicates continuous, which is continuing means the work is going on, not completed yet. I am teaching you. Yes, it is continuing. Now also it is of continuous example of a continuous tense. So I am teaching you. Let's take the same example. I am teaching you. I am teaching you. Before that, let's see the format. How the sentences of this will look like. We have seen that first subject will become subject, then helping verb, HV, then main verb, plus verbs, first form, plus ing. Yes, plus object. This is how you will form the sentences. Are you understanding? Yes. And so this is how you will form. Now, in this, as I told you, verbs first form will be used. And I had used teach. Teach is the verb's first form. And after that, I added the term ing. Why? There is a kind of rule for this continuous tense that ing after verb's first form should be used to satisfy all the rules. Right? Ing. Right now the work is going on and on. I am teaching you. Right now it is going. So this is how you will form affirmative sentences. So for negative, if you talk about, so just you have to add before that, there is also one more term. There are also helping verbs like is, am, are. Which one I used? Am. You know? Yes. With I, you always use am. Am the helping verb. Yes, for I, we only use am. But for singular words, he, she, it, what we use? We will use is. If here is she is teaching you. She is teaching you, right? Let's erase this stuff. She is teaching you. This is how the format will look like, right? You can say he is teaching you. Okay, this is how you will form. But in plural, if it given, right? So you will use are. We are teaching you, right? This is how the sentences will look like. So if you have to form the negative one, he is not teaching you. But now that we know that there are forms of do is used. Yes, the forms of do will be used here. So for these, we will use for singular does here, and if does is used, es is totally used. So in verb we will not use es. Like, take an example of earlier, I go to school. I go to school. So in this term, if you want to be its negative, then how do we do? I does not go to school. I does not go to school. So in these, now you know why you only used go. Okay, so why you only used this instead of es? Can I use es here? No, we can't use es here. So here it will be looked like this. We can't use es here because I is a plural word, right? So now let's come with the third type of this tense, which is present perfect tense. Okay, so the third one is perfect tense. Perfect tense. So what's a perfect tense actually is? So perfect tense is actually means the work is just completed. Yes, the work is just completed. I'm just alone, right? This is a kind of perfect tense. In perfect tense, what you will use? Only in perfect tense, you will use verbs third form. Verbs third form will be used in perfect tense. With this, in present perfect tense, you will use first less form, the format subject plus verbs third form plus has have plus object, right? So verbs third form and has have. So in which kinds of word we will use has and in which we will use have? So we will use has in singular words that I told you, he, she, it, and in have there will be I, we, you, they, all that. I, we, you, and they. Okay, so this is how you will use both. Okay, if I give you an example, I have a marker. So this is what a sentence of a perfect tense. I, comes under the category of perfect tense, and I have a marker shows that I have is used for the plural. I have a marker which is used for here, right? For the perfect tense. So if I want to be negative one, I want to form the negative, so here we will use not. Okay, so not is used there. So there this perfect tense shows the reality behind this. So the fourth type, which is a kind of combination of both these supermans, right? So what is that? That is present perfect continuous tense. Let me write. Perfect continuous. Okay, continuous. Perfect continuous. So in this a kind of combination is present here. So what's the format? Here the format is really a combination from some parts are listed out from this, some from this. So what is listed from continuous, what is from perfect, we will see with the help of a little best design format. So that will be like subject plus, and the verb which will be used here is of continuous, so verbs first form plus ing, then after you will use has have from the perfect plus been of its own new format is added, been. Understanding? Been. Then after been, you will also use two terms, which is since or for. Then after, object. Since, for and object. This is how the format will looks like. Okay. So this will be used. So since and for, they are actually like different. So for and since, what you will use? So for is for kind of defined time. For 4 hours, for 3 hours, for 1 hour. Right? And if I want to make a sentence, I have been studying for 2 hours. Easy. Let me write. I have been studying for 2 hours. I plural, so we use have. Then been and helping verb, which I show for addition. Studying, study plus ing. Verbs first form plus ing is used here, and for is used for defining the point of time, the period of time, and since is used for the point of time, which means like if I want to use since, so there will be something. Let me change the verb, because that will not a kind of easy thing. So I have been working since 3 days. Right? Or you can say since 2021. Right? This is how the format will look like. The point of time from which the work is done, from the verb will define. So this is all which tells you about the perfect continuous tense, which is the combination of all this. And this is all about our present tense, which we look for, and you have to make a notes for this and understand and repeat the video. So for watching, thank you. Bye.